Xiao Yin was simultaneously channeling a massive amount of soul energy to fend off the attacks from the Dan Shen, while asking Shan Yao, "What's your plan?" The power of this Dan Shen was indeed as bottomless as an abyss. Even while facing both Shan Yao and Shi Xing, it hadn't even used half of its strength, and with just a casual strike, it unleashed a terrifying force. If it hadn't been for Shi Xing's fierce resistance, combined with Xiao Yan's soul energy, they would have been defeated in a single exchange. A 9-star Do-Di strength was truly terrifying. Even so, the pressure on Xiao Yin was overwhelming. "Do you see that mural? That's a sealing array left behind by Grandpa Mu," Shan Yao explained thoughtfully. "As long as we inject enough energy, we can seal this Dan Shen once again. After all, it's only an incomplete 4th-rank immortal pill. As long as it's not a fully formed immortal pill, it can't escape the seal." After finishing, Shan Yao looked at Xiao Yin, clearly waiting for his response. "How confident are you?" Xiao Yin frowned. He had felt something strange about the mural behind the golden chair from the very beginning. If it was completely useless, why would it be placed behind such an important seat? This mural seems rather mysterious. Xiao Yin stared at it for a few seconds before a wave of dizziness hit him, forcing him to shift his gaze. The mural depicted a massive cauldron, and within the cauldron, something seemed to be imprisoned, as though being refined. "Shan Yao, don't test my patience." The Dan Shen cast a surprised glance at Shi Xing and Xiao Yin, who had managed to block its attack, giving Xiao Yin an extra look of scrutiny. This young man was enveloped in a fire of 23 different colors, standing like a living volcano. How strange. The flames on this boy's body are giving me an unsettling feeling. Could there be something else hidden within him? Though it was only an incomplete 4th-rank immortal pill, after consuming numerous 2nd and 3rd-rank imperial pills from the alchemy chamber, the Dan Shen's intelligence had become nearly indistinguishable from that of a human. No matter. I should kill him now and eliminate any future threats. After thinking for a moment, the Dan Shen couldn't figure out what Xiao Yan's secret was and let out a cold snort. Shi Xing. Xiao Yin knew this was their only chance. If they failed, they would be doomed. After all, the Dan Shen possessed the power of a 9-star Do-Di. Without Shi Xing's resistance, defeating Xiao Yin and Shan Yao would be as easy as crushing an ant. Even though Xiao Yin faintly sensed that his soul power had a strong suppressive effect on the Dan Shen, the overwhelming difference in strength made that advantage almost negligible. "I understand," Shi Xing answered coldly, but his heart was heavy. "Damn it. I should have known better than to agree to this kid's request for the sake of a single pill. We're up against a 9-star Do-Di. I can save myself, but escaping with the other two? That's just wishful thinking." And seeing how much Xiao Yin values that soul essence, it's clear he must obtain it. "Damn it. Why do I keep finding myself in situations like this lately?" Shi Xing cursed under his breath. "No matter. Since I've already decided, this king will go crazy with you just this once." After finishing his thought, Shi Xing's aura shifted dramatically, transforming into a miniature serpent several meters long. This tiny serpent had 3 distinct heads, but currently, only the central head held power and consciousness. The other 2 heads, which belonged to Shan Yao and Xiao Yin, were dim and lifeless. A 3-headed water spirit serpent, huh? How amusing. The Dan Shen sneered wickedly. It knew quite a bit about these ancient beasts. If the 3-headed water spirit serpent ever reached its peak, it would be far more powerful than a mere 9-star Do-Di. Hiss! The 3-headed water spirit serpent moved with incredible speed, closing in on the Dan Shen in an instant. One of its heads opened wide, spewing a torrent of multicolored venom toward the enemy. "Foolish." The Dan Shen scoffed, letting out a cold snort. An invisible wave of pressure rippled out from beneath its feet, colliding with the serpent's head. Bang! The overwhelming force slammed into the serpent, causing Shi Xing to cough up blood. His pupils shrank as he glared at the Dan Shen. "Perfect. I'm still missing a mount. If you submit to me, I'll grant you great benefits. If not, you'll die." The Dan Shen spoke arrogantly, completely disregarding Shi Xing's perfect 8-star Do-Di strength. While Shi Xing and the Dan Shen clashed, Xiao Yin and Shan Yao didn't waste any time. Both knew how precious these moments were, so they quickly made their way to the golden chair. The mural now stood before them. How do we use it? Xiao asked, puzzled. His soul energy couldn't detect anything out of the ordinary about the mural. It was, after all, just a mural. I know how. Xiao approached the mural, lightly tracing her fingers across its surface. Quick, there's no time. Xiao glanced over at Xixing, who was growing weaker under the Dan Shen's relentless assault. There wasn't much time left before Xixing would fall. Xiao nodded. Her delicate fingers still pressed against the mural. Qi surged from within her, pouring into the mural as she concentrated. As Xiao infused her energy, the mural began to shift. What had once been a simple image of a cauldron now revealed faint wisps of fire. The flames seemed terrifying, as if they were imprisoning something powerful within the cauldron. Brother Xiao, it's ready. We just need to lure the Dan Shen into the array's range, Xiao said softly, her lips trembling from the effort of maintaining the energy flow. Got it. Xiao responded immediately, his figure flashing toward Xixing. Let's go. Without wasting any time, Xiao grabbed Xixing and led him toward the ceiling array. You won't escape today. Ha ha ha. The Dan Shen's sinister laughter echoed, its tone dripping with arrogance. It didn't notice Xiao's subtle movements by the mural. The next moment, an overwhelming wave of life and death energy burst from the Dan Shen's body as it rushed toward Xiao and the others like a dragon breaking through a dam. Damn it! We've been tricked. Just as the Dan Shen thought it had landed the decisive blow, it unknowingly stepped into the range of the array. A terrifying fear suddenly surged within it. Curse you! What is this thing? Dan Shen exclaimed, growing anxious. He had been too arrogant earlier, completely dismissing Xiao. But after all, Xiao was the little princess of the Heaven-Eyed Fish Clan, with a mysterious connection to Kwangmu Immortal Master, which made her quite familiar with the mansion. How could he have overlooked such an important detail? Dan Shen silently cursed himself. All right. Xiao, though puzzled by how Dan Shen arrived here so easily, was overjoyed. She let out a sudden cry, and the mural instantly emitted a brilliant red light, which shot toward Dan Shen the next moment. Ah! Kwangmu Immortal Master! Dan Shen roared in desperation as the red light enveloped him. It was as if all his power had been stripped away in an instant. A surge of madness filled his mind. Damn it! Trying to control me again? This time, even if I die, I won't fall for your tricks again. Dan Shen, now completely bound by fiery red Qi, struggled helplessly as he shouted in rage. Seal! As Dan Shen's inner strength clashed with the red Qi, beads of sweat formed on Xiao's forehead. The energy of a 7-star Do-D was far inferior to that of a 9-star Do-D like Dan Shen. As Xiao gave her command, the cauldron depicted in the mural seemed to sense Dan Shen's desperate struggle, trying to break free from its bonds. Instantly, an even more overwhelming aura surged forth and slammed into Dan Shen. Oh, no. Master, I was wrong, no. Dan Shen's hoarse cries echoed, sending chills down the spines of everyone present. TSK. That cauldron must be no ordinary item, Xiao remarked in a low voice. It was clear the cauldron in the mural was merely an avatar, yet it was able to suppress a mighty 9-star Do-D like Dan Shen. The cauldron was undoubtedly terrifying. Boom, boom, boom. Fiery red Qi poured out of the mural and engulfed Dan Shen. Circles of pill fragrance started to emerge from Dan Shen's body, filling Xiao and the others with a pleasant sense of calm, without any hint of danger. Thud. In the next moment, Dan Shen's body, under the pressure of the red Qi, rapidly shrank and was sucked into the mural. Boom, boom, boom. In just a few breaths, Dan Shen's form had melted into the mural. At this point, from the once empty cauldron depicted behind the golden chair, a pill, the size of a dragon's eye, black and white in perfect harmony, began to flow slowly. What kind of pill is this? Xiao stared at the pill, feeling a sudden tremor in his soul. This was clearly a 4th-rank Immortal class pill. This thing is still incomplete. It's yours, Xiao said softly. With a flick of her finger, the The dragon eye-sized black and white pill appeared in her hand. All right. Xiao didn't hesitate and accepted it. Although the pill was just a prototype, it was still a genuine 4th-rank Immortal class pill. A 4th-rank Immortal class pill would make even Do Xian experts envious, let alone a mere Do D. Furthermore, Xiao knew that this pill had already developed intelligence, and once his strength reached the necessary level, he could transform this prototype into a fully fledged 4th-rank Immortal class pill. TSK. This girl is quite generous, Xing remarked, though he was clearly pained by the loss. But he showed no sign of it, for from beginning to end, Dan Shen had been under Shan Yao's control, so he had no qualms about how she divided things. Where's the soul essence? Xiao suddenly remembered, his face darkening. The soul essence was the key to his breakthrough to the Imperial Realm mortal grade in terms of soul power. Without it, his plan would be ruined. Here. Just as Xiao began searching frantically, a delicate box reappeared in Shan Yao's hand. Soul essence. Xiao sighed in relief. You were worrying for nothing. The soul essence is the life's work of an Immortal class alchemist. If it were so easily damaged, it wouldn't be worthy of the name, Longy chuckled. Xiao rolled his eyes in response. Keep the pill and soul essence safe. This is a 4th-rank Immortal class pill, useless to anyone else. And the soul essence, it's only valuable to alchemists. The two of us have no use for it. Also, since the conch has recognized me as its master, take it as a small compensation for brother Xiao. Shan Yao held the conch in her hand, a gentle power continuously spreading throughout her body. Understood. Xiao nodded and collected the 2 items. So, this is a 4th-rank Immortal class pill prototype? Legend has it that Immortal class pills have transcended the realm of ordinary pills. I never imagined I'd witness one today. Xing, now back in human form, gazed at the terrifying pill in Xiao palm. And this soul essence. When an alchemist's soul power reaches a certain level, they can strike down enemies with their soul alone, delivering a fatal blow. Xing added. We should focus on finding Sister Shanling first, Shan Yao said as she exited the wooden hall. Agreed. It doesn't seem like there's anything else of importance left here. Though, for some reason, when Sacred Flame mentioned going to the desolate mountain range to obtain it, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Xiao murmured as he carefully stowed the pill and soul essence, then followed the others. After winding through several corridors, they finally arrived at the entrance to the backyard. The backyard. 2 large characters, elegantly carved from fine wood, soared above the entrance. Is Shanling really in this backyard? Xing asked with some concern. Yes. I have a connection with this mansion, so I can sense her location. I'm sure she feels the same, Shan Yao responded softly. Is Shanling also Xiling? Xiyu. Shan Yao and Shanling. Xiao mused as he walked. By now, Xiao understood that the Heaven-Eyed Fish Clan had a deep connection to the mansion's owner, and Shanling was likely the daughter of the mansion's master. If that's true, things could get complicated. Xiao frowned as an ominous feeling arose within him while watching Shan Yao walk ahead. This place had been invaded by the extraterritorial evil clan. If Shanling's father really was the mansion's owner, their reunion could be problematic. Let's focus on finding Shanling first. Xiao shook his head, pushing the thoughts aside. Shan Yao, are there any other dangerous creatures in this mansion? Xiao asked as he observed the layout and the lake beneath the corridors. No, just that big guy earlier, Shan Yao replied. At this moment, the backyard walkways were all made of fine wood, with exquisite decorations lining both sides, flowers, birds, and beasts, clearly crafted by the hands of a master. The owner of this mansion really knows how to enjoy life, Xiao remarked in awe. The 3 of them, Xiao, Shan Yao, and Xing, walked slowly from the front yard to the backyard. Not long after, Shan Yao pointed ahead. We're here. This is the place, she said excitedly, running ahead and pushing open the wooden door. At the same time, a joyful voice came from inside. Sister Shanling. I've remembered. You're my sister Shanling. Shanling. As the wooden door opened, Shanling's figure appeared before them, but her response was weak, her voice tinged with sorrow. Sister Shanling, what's wrong? Shanyao asked with a soft smile, puzzled by Shanling's gloomy expression. Nothing. Shanling forced a smile from her lips, but it was too fake for Xiao to miss. Sigh. Shanling, why do you put yourself through this? Xing said with a tender, caring tone. Put myself through what? How can I call him father? That Kwangmu immortal master, who let his wife be killed and left his daughter to wander alone, uncared for. How could such a man be my father? What a grand Kwangmu immortal master indeed, Shanling said bitterly, throwing a letter at Xiao as she finished. It turned out that when Dan Shen left earlier, he either forgot or purposely left this secret letter for Shanling to find. Xiao furrowed his brow, catching the letter in his hand. Xing was utterly confused, while Shanyao, with some vague understanding, began playfully swaying her head to cheer Shanling up. The moment Xiao touched the letter, a cold chill swept over him, like falling into a bottomless abyss. The letter wasn't long, only a few hundred words, but as Xiao read, his mind was in turmoil. I am Kwangmu Xianlan, a peak Do D and a 4th rank immortal class alchemist. By chance, I obtained a sacred flame. The sacred flame is the lifelong dream of any alchemist. Acquiring one not only greatly enhances one's alchemy skills, but also increases one's combat strength exponentially. Before obtaining the sacred flame, I had a happy family. But after acquiring it, the extraterritorial evil clan began targeting me. The ones after me were from the Blood Demon clan, a branch of the extraterritorial evil clan. They are bloodthirsty and savage. After gaining the sacred flame, my strength surged, breaking through to Do Xian, and I became the ruler of this land. For the sake of this land's safety, I had to stand up. Just as my daughter was born, I named her Shanling. At the same time, the little princess of the Heaven-Eyed Fish clan was also named Shanyao. Shanyao and Shanling grew up together. On the day of the birth, the Blood Demon clan launched a massive attack. I was already struggling just to fend off the Blood Demon clan's experts. One part of me fought those heinous invaders, while the other had to protect your mother. Finally, during the battle with the Blood Demon clan, I made a fatal mistake, causing your mother's death on the battlefield. At that time, I was utterly exhausted, and with your mother's urgent plea, I fled with you. But your mother... Only then did I realize the true terror of the extraterritorial evil clan. Afterward, I swore to annihilate the Blood Demon clan. After ensuring your safety, I gathered all my strength to fight the Blood Demon clan. In the end, I sacrificed my life to seal their experts at the highest peak of the desolate mountain range. Shanling, I know I failed you, but I still hope to hear you call me father. The letter ended there. Upon reading this, Xiao finally understood why Shanling was so upset, but something still felt off. The letter's contents seemed strange, as if something wasn't quite right. Shanling had grown up in the lake. If it weren't for Xing accidentally triggering their encounter, Shanling and Shanyao might still be trapped at the lake's bottom. Shanling, you can't blame him entirely. After all, the extraterritorial evil clan. Xiao began, but seeing the look in Shanling's eyes, he quickly fell silent. But how could he abandon my mother and flee with me? That was my mother, and it was the day she gave birth, Shanling said stubbornly, tears welling up in her eyes. Sigh, Xiao sighed heavily, shaking his head at Kwangmu Immortal Master's actions. Although Xiao hadn't fought the extraterritorial evil clan often, he knew just how terrifying their power was. Even with Do Xian's strength and the sacred flame, Kwangmu Immortal Master had been forced to flee, showing just how extraordinary the Blood Demon clan truly was. The first person I saw when I opened my eyes was Brother Xing. I've never seen my mother or father. I've always longed for the day I could meet them, Shanling said, her voice trembling. They don't have to be some great heroes. Just ordinary, simple people would be enough. But, as Shanling spoke, she hadn't noticed Shanyao standing quietly nearby. Shanyao's situation was, in fact, even more tragic. She had been sealed by the Heaven-Eyed Fish clan for years. If it weren't for Xiao who had brought the clan's relic, the conch, at the request of Yuxian, Shan Yao would still be in a deep slumber. Sister Shan Ling, let's not cry anymore. Uncle must have had his reasons. He surely wouldn't have abandoned you, Shan Yao consoled gently. Shan Ling, remember, no matter what, your father wouldn't abandon you. He's a hero who saved an entire land. Xing said, trying to comfort her. Huh? The writing on this letter seems to have been altered? The next moment, Xiao, using his soul power to examine the letter, made a startling discovery. Kuangmu Immortal Master had been an alchemist, and after inspecting the letter closely, Xiao realized that some of the writing had been tampered with, though the modifications were subtle, making it look almost as if Kuangmu Immortal Master had written it himself. Xiao still detected the slight differences. Heh, it must be Dan Shen's handiwork. The contents of this letter may not be entirely true or false. At the very least, we can't take it all at face value, nor dismiss it completely, Xiao said with a faint smile. I'm going to the top of the desolate mountain range, Shan Ling suddenly declared, as if she had gathered all her courage. Once I finish absorbing the soul essence, I'll go with you. Xiao spoke up, noticing that Shan Ling's mood had improved slightly. I'm going too. Shan Yao chimed in enthusiastically. I'll join as well. It'll be good to assist you all, Xing added with a smile. Thank you, brother Xing. Shan Ling felt a warmth in her heart at his words. Since the letter had been tampered with, no matter what, she needed to see for herself the highest peak of the desolate mountain range. You all take a rest. Once I've absorbed the soul essence, we'll head out, Xiao said, feeling a sense of relief as the group settled down. The reason he wanted to absorb the soul essence first was to break through to the Imperial Realm mortal grade, as he knew the top of the desolate mountain range would be extremely dangerous. Strengthening his soul power had become an urgent necessity. All right. The group, aware of the challenges ahead, nodded in agreement. Come this way. There's a secret chamber here, Shan Ling, now in a much better mood, said as she lightly twisted a certain ink box in her hand. With a click, a hidden section of the floor suddenly opened up, revealing an astonishing sight. A passageway, dimly illuminated by flickering firelight from below, appeared before them. This is a secret chamber. If you need to absorb the soul essence, you can do it inside. We'll wait for you here, Shan Ling explained. Got it. Xiao nodded, sensing the rich soul power emanating from below. With a slight movement, he slipped into the wooden passage. He's going down there. Will he be safe? Shan Yao asked, her voice tinged with concern. He'll be fine. With the soul essence in his possession, nothing will happen to him. We should focus on recovering our own strength. I suspect there will be a fierce battle awaiting us at the highest peak of the desolate mountain range. Shan Ling closed her eyes and began regulating her breathing. Shan Yao and Xing, though they had more to say, decided to follow her lead and quietly rested as well. This place has an eerie soul barrier. Xiao had barely entered the passage when he realized that it extended from beneath the room's floor. The dim firelight spread from the depths, and as Xiao walked a few steps further, he sensed that this secret chamber was far from ordinary. No matter. According to Xing and the others, there shouldn't be any more dangers here. I need to focus on breaking through. My peak Imperial Realm mortal grade soul power isn't enough to fully absorb the sacred flame, Xiao chuckled to himself. With that thought, he descended deeper into the passage, the wooden floor creaking under his steps. After a few minutes, Xiao reached a vast secret chamber, its walls made of solid stone and illuminated by torches. This will do, Xiao said as his gaze swept through the room, extending his soul power to confirm it was sealed tight, with no cracks or leaks. Satisfied, he sat cross-legged on the clean ground. This isn't a bad place, Long Yi commented, his spirit floating in midair, observing the surroundings casually. Finally, I can break through my Imperial Realm mortal grade soul power, Xiao muttered, unable to hide his excitement as he sat down. The strength of an alchemist's soul power is closely tied to their rank. If Xiao didn't break through soon, his chances of advancing to a second-rank Imperial Alchemist would be slim. I should set up a soul barrier first. Even though they're trustworthy, it's better to be cautious. A small lapse could end in disaster, Xiao murmured. As soon as the words left his mouth, a brilliant surge of soul power erupted from within Xiao soul sea. It surged toward the entrance of the chamber, wrapping around it. Within moments, Xiao had sealed the chamber with his soul barrier. If anyone approached, he would sense them immediately, and they would face a powerful soul attack. Soul essence, Xiao muttered, finally pulling out the delicate box containing the precious liquid. The box was exquisite, like a work of art, exuding an aura of unattainable refinement. As expected of something forged from the life's work of an immortal-class alchemist, Xiao couldn't help but smile. The box looked simple, but only Xiao knew it was no ordinary item. Its origins were extraordinary, able to withstand the immense power of the soul essence inside. Click. With a slight movement, Xiao opened the box. This time, the moment was different. Xiao had enveloped his hands in soul power, and as soon as the box was opened, the colorless liquid inside surged violently, sending a shockwave through his spirit. Bang, bang, bang. The force of it caused Xiao mouth to bleed slightly, but his expression remained one of joy. As expected of soul essence, Xiao thought to himself, unbothered by the minor injury. After all, this was a product of an immortal-class alchemist. If it didn't have some power, Xiao wouldn't believe it. Time is short. I should absorb it now, Xiao said to himself, his mood light. Go ahead. I'll stand guard for you. Nothing will happen, Longyi reassured him, clearly satisfied with Xiao series of actions. All right. With that, Xiao gently placed the soul essence on the ground, closed his eyes, and began regulating his breath. Absorbing soul essence was no trivial matter. One wrong move could lead to total annihilation, so Xiao didn't dare to be careless. He readied himself in his peak condition. A few minutes later, his energy fully restored, Xiao opened his eyes. Soul essence, rise, he commanded, his pupils gleaming with focus. A burst of powerful soul energy erupted from within his soul sea and enveloped the soul essence before him. Sensing the approach of another force, the soul essence began to tremble and shift, attempting to avoid being absorbed by Xiao. Once captured, it would be fully integrated into Xiao soul. It seems this senior was truly kind-hearted, Xiao mused. The soul essence was incredibly pure, akin to that of a newborn baby. This type of soul essence was of the highest quality and the most powerful catalyst for enhancing soul strength. Let's see how long you can keep running. Xiao wasn't in a hurry. He sat down cross-legged and controlled his soul power, chasing after the soul essence. He knew that once it exhausted itself, it would be his for the taking. The liquid in the box had already disappeared, leaving only a shimmering pool of transparent liquid floating in the air. As the soul essence moved, even the space around it seemed to tremble in response. While Xiao was in the secret chamber, locked in a battle of wits with the soul essence, he realized that although the soul essence had been stripped of its intelligence by a powerful being, it still instinctively resisted his efforts to absorb it. Absorbing the soul essence would undoubtedly enhance his soul power, but Xiao sought to achieve the best possible outcome, opting for a more patient approach rather than rushing. He aimed to extract the maximum benefit by purging any impurities from the soul essence. Meanwhile, Shanyao, Shanling, and Xixing sat quietly in the chamber, their eyes closed as they focused on recovering their strength. They were waiting for Xiao to finish, after which they would head to the highest peak of the desolate mountain range. Elsewhere in the desolate mountain range, an immense forest stretched over hundreds of square miles. Ancient trees and roaming magical beasts gave the area a perilous atmosphere, blending nature's beauty with its dangers. What could be in this forest? Yingying murmured, her soft lips moving as she walked forward. Why do I feel like something is calling to me? After being separated from Xiao Yingying had been teleported to this place. She soon discovered that this was a dangerous area, filled with magical beasts and traps that had almost ensnared her. Fortunately, her training was solid, allowing her to avoid disaster time and time again. Raising her head, Yingying looked toward the deepest part of the forest. The voice calling to her seemed to be coming from there, though she still couldn't discern what it was. However, She had a vague suspicion that the voice might belong to the king of the forest. Whatever resided deep within was surely formidable. Well, I might as well take a look. After a brief consideration, Yingying made up her mind. She had decided to investigate because there was no other path to take. Additionally, she possessed the sacred flame and was confident in her abilities, which gave her the courage to proceed. As Yingying moved deeper into the forest, the magical beasts continued to appear, but they seemed strangely abnormal. She sensed the presence of the extraterritorial evil clan on some of these creatures. However, under the sacred flame's pressure, the beasts withdrew. It seems that something truly terrifying must reside in the desolate mountain range. Otherwise, how could the influence of the extraterritorial evil clan be so pervasive? Yingying muttered, observing the magical beasts that had been appearing around her. But what's strange is that even though I have the sacred flame, why aren't these beasts attacking me? Or perhaps they can't see me? Yingying wondered, her head full of questions. Just as she was hesitating, a blue beam of light suddenly shot toward her from the depths of the forest. Something's happening. Yingying immediately heightened her senses, her aura rising to its peak as she prepared for whatever was coming. But as the blue beam drew near, it stopped abruptly just a short distance from her. Yingying was left bewildered by the sudden turn of events. "Follow me," a faint voice echoed from the blue beam, directly entering Yingying's mind. What is this blue light, and why do these beasts fear it so much? Though Yingying had her suspicions, she couldn't help but voice her thoughts. Well, I'll see for myself. But if you mean any harm, even if I can't fully utilize the power of the sacred flame, you'll pay the price. With a determined look, Yingying gathered her courage, took a deep breath, and walked straight toward the blue beam. As she approached the forest's depths, an uneasy feeling began to settle in her heart. Step by step, with each step closer, she noticed the sacred flame within her becoming increasingly restless, as if it had encountered a mortal enemy. What's wrong? Yingying immediately sensed the abnormality and addressed the sacred flame inside her. The sacred flame within Yingying was different from ordinary flames. It was sealed within her, and though she could summon its power, there were still some limitations. Buzz, buzz. The sacred flame inside her emitted a faint sound, and blue flames began to ripple out from her body in waves. Is there something here? Yingying muttered, now fully aware of the sacred flame's intense reaction. As she moved forward, the magical beasts in the forest scattered, clearing a path straight to the forest's core. What's this? Yingying's curiosity peaked as she pressed forward, only to find herself at a dead end. The blue light seems to be coming from within, Yingying pondered for a moment. After a brief consideration, she wrapped herself in the blue power of the sacred flame and resolutely stepped closer. A barrier? After just a few steps, Yingying felt her progress slow down, and every step forward became increasingly difficult. Why is there a barrier here? And such a powerful one at that. What on earth could be inside? Yingying muttered, gritting her teeth as she pushed on. With great effort and the terrifying might of her sacred flame, Yingying's body trembled slightly before she finally broke through and entered the barrier. The moment she crossed the threshold, a wave of dizziness hit her, and her body shook violently. She passed through the barrier and entered the depths of the forest. What is this? Yingying's vision cleared, and her surroundings came into focus. She found herself in a small space, only a few meters wide. The area was stark and simple, with no extravagant decorations, just a single object, pulsating with a dense black aura. The blackness clung to the object like a parasitic worm, making it impossible for Yingying to identify what it was. The entire space was confined, with barriers on all sides. At the center of it all stood a wooden stake, deeply embedded in the ground. The stake was old, with layers of rings indicating its many years of existence. But what drew Yingying's attention was an object wrapped in black mist that slowly materialized on top of the stake. A wave of pure evil emanated from the object, causing Yingying's brow to furrow. Is this the work of the extraterritorial evil clan? Yingying said softly, her voice cautious. As soon as she spoke, the sacred flame surrounding her flared up violently, its blue flames locking onto the black aura with the intensity of a predator eyeing its prey. A deadly aura instantly filled the space. Calm down. Yingying quickly suppressed the sacred flame's agitation, forcing it back under control. She knew the deep enmity between the sacred flame and the extraterritorial evil clan, and she had to keep herself in check to avoid provoking further chaos. "Help me!" A faint, fragile voice emerged from the object shrouded in the evil aura atop the wooden stake.